In a future where Earth has succumbed to ecological collapse due to reckless experimentation with genetically modified organisms, engineered viruses and organisms ravage the environment, decimating food sources, wildlife, and a significant portion of the human population. Society now exists in the form of an oligarchy residing in fortified cities known as citadels, while the rest struggle to survive in the harsh outside world. Among these survivors is Vesper, a resourceful 13-year-old girl who cares for her paralyzed father, Darius. Darius, confined to a drone following Vesper, seeks solace in his daughter's companionship amidst the desolation. Vesper, endowed with intelligence and adept in biology and biohacking, scavenges for sustenance and conducts research in an abandoned laboratory. She also maintains her father's life-supporting machine, showcasing her resilience and adaptability. Despite Darius's protectiveness, Vesper yearns for freedom and exploration, much to her father's apprehension. One fateful afternoon, upon returning home, Vesper discovers their dwelling has been ransacked, and the generator vital for Darius's survival has been sabotaged. With no alternative, she ventures to a nearby farm for assistance. There, she encounters a dilemma. The farm is facing issues with their jug, a genetically engineered being designed for labor, now injured and deemed worthless. In a distressing turn of events, Vesper witnesses the brutal termination of the jug, which surprisingly exhibits signs of suffering. Seeking aid from the farm's leader, Jonas, Darius's brother, Vesper proposes a trade, her blood in exchange for bacteria to repair their generator. Blood holds value in this society, as it serves as currency for acquiring seeds from the citadels. However, Vesper only resorts to donating blood in dire circumstances. Jonas seizes the opportunity to offer Vesper sanctuary, promising care for her father in return for her permanent residence. Caught between loyalty to her father and the prospect of security, Vesper faces a moral dilemma that will shape her future in this dystopian world. Despite Jonas's insistence and offer of sanctuary, Vesper staunchly refuses, recognizing his ulterior motive of wanting to groom her as one of his breeders. His unsettling comments about her resemblance to her departed mother only deepen her distrust. After the blood donation, Jonas reneges on his promise to provide the necessary bacteria immediately, citing the need to sell the blood first, leaving Vesper in a desperate situation as Darius's life hangs in the balance. In a fit of rage, Vesper attempts to reclaim her blood, but Jonas catches her and forcibly ejects her from the farm. Undeterred, Vesper swiftly returns, exploiting her familiarity with a hidden entry point in the farm's perimeter fence. Despite being spotted by Jonas's assistant, Vesper manages to infiltrate Jonas's lab, seizing both the owed bacteria and coveted seeds sourced from the citadel. Meanwhile, as Vesper heads home, she notices a citadel glider flying at an unusual altitude. Upon her return, she prioritizes repairing the generator and then focuses on experimenting with the stolen seeds, harboring hopes of leveraging her newfound knowledge to secure a place within the citadel's confines. However, Darius's bleak assessment of their chances wounds her deeply, prompting her tearful departure from their home. While navigating the forest, Vesper stumbles upon the unconscious body of Camellia, a citadel resident, besieged by encroaching flora. Acting swiftly, Vesper rescues Camellia and administers rudimentary medical aid using her own synthetic patch. Upon awakening, Camellia eavesdrops on a heated debate between Vesper and Darius regarding her fate. Anxious and distrustful, Camellia clandestinely arms herself with a concealed knife, anticipating potential threats. When Vesper confronts her, Camellia reveals her connection to the crashed glider and her desperate quest to reunite with her missing father, fueling tension and uncertainty in their already precarious situation. Camellia, still recovering from her injuries, remains unable to walk but offers a reward in exchange for assistance in locating her father, prompting Vesper to agree despite Darius's disapproval. During dinner, Camellia discovers the truth about Darius's past as a Citadel soldier who was left debilitated, distrustful of the institution that provided him with only a drone for his service. When Darius suffers a seizure, Camelia's unexpected kiss induces sleep, providing temporary relief. The following day, Vesper embarks on the search and swiftly locates Camelia's father, Elias, within the crashed glider. However, their reunion is disrupted by the arrival of Jonas and his cohort of survivalists. Jonas callously disregards Elias's pleas for aid, opting instead to execute him on grounds of his Citadel affiliation. When Vesper intervenes, Jonas dismisses her interference, though he becomes suspicious of her motives, particularly upon discovering a woman's scarf within the wreckage, hinting at another passenger. Afterward, Darius suggests concealing the truth from Camellia to prevent rash actions or Jonas's retaliation, yet the only means of communication lies within Jonas's possession. Upon their return home, Vesper fabricates a story for Camellia, assuring her continued efforts to locate her father. Impressed by Vesper's ingenuity in healing her wounds with synthetic patches, Camellia gains Vesper's trust, leading to the revelation of Vesper's clandestine greenhouse harboring various bioengineered plants with unique traits and personalities. Despite her achievements, Vesper remains determined to perfect her creations for producing edible seeds. In a private moment, Darius urges Camellia to treat Vesper kindly, emphasizing the significance of Vesper's dreams amidst their dire circumstances. Later, as Camellia inquires about Vesper's mother, who joined the silent pilgrims following a loss of her voice, rumors abound regarding the pilgrims' enigmatic existence, suggesting a viral affliction dictates their fate, potentially stripping them of their autonomy. Upon Camelia's revelation of never knowing her own mother, Vesper retrieves a book featuring illustrations of animals unfamiliar to her but recognized by Camellia. In a sharing of experiences, Camellia educates Vesper on the sounds these creatures make. Pondering why the Citadel reserves real animals exclusively for their use, Vesper questions why survivalists aren't granted access as well. Camellia elucidates that the Citadel prioritizes resource management and fears losing control, preferring compliant jugs for menial tasks over potentially rebellious humans. Subsequently, Vesper unveils her mother's old musical instrument, engaging in a harmonious duet with Camellia. Determined to utilize Jonas's transceiver, Vesper clandestinely infiltrates his residence once more, but her attempt is thwarted when Jonas captures Darius's drone, confronting Vesper about his missing seeds and the enigmatic vanished passenger. Unwilling to divulge the truth, Vesper flees with the drone, only to discover its malfunctioning flight capabilities. While attempting to retrieve it, she stumbles upon Jonas's abandoned assistant, left to perish under a tree, presumably for aiding her. As Jonas's followers accost Vesper, branding her as his property, she returns home in distress, burdened by guilt and seeking solace from Camellia, who offers comfort despite Vesper's earlier deceit. Stricken with grief, Vesper reveals Elias's demise, leading them to discover his lifeless body adrift in the river. Camelia's anguish overwhelms her, prompting Vesper to rescue her from drowning, during which she notices a peculiar scar on Camelia's back, exhibiting a peculiar reaction upon contact. Unveiling a shocking truth, Camellia discloses her true nature as an advanced jug engineered by Elias, expelled from the Citadel for his creation of sentient slaves. Fueled by rage and betrayal, Vesper lashes out before instructing Camellia to depart once she's composed herself, marking a stark end to their tumultuous alliance. Finally, Vesper manages to repair the drone, sharing the events with her father, Darius, who urges her to show compassion towards Camellia, acknowledging the limitations of jugs in following orders without choice. Meanwhile, Camellia, feeling her purpose diminished, contemplates ending her existence before the Citadel authorities locate her. However, Vesper's newfound empathy intervenes, and she intervenes in time to prevent Camelia's drastic action. Recognizing Camelia's potential usefulness in her research, Vesper proposes extracting a sample of her cells, but accessing them proves challenging due to their encryption, mirroring the difficulty with the seeds. Camelia's impromptu musical performance, inspired by Elias's past experiences, unexpectedly unlocks her cells, enabling Vesper to modify the Citadel's seeds for future sustenance. In pursuit of further progress, Vesper ventures to the old lab with the drone, gathering necessary tools for her endeavors while Camellia remains to tend to Darius. However, Jonas discovers Camelia's presence and coerces her into accompanying him. Jonas's discovery of Camelia's true nature as a jug prompts a violent confrontation, joined by both Vesper and the drone, resulting in Jonas's defeat. Rather than exacting vengeance, Vesper strikes a deal with Jonas, offering the seed unlocking mechanism in exchange for their safety. However, Jonas's betrayal becomes evident when he notifies the Citadel of Camelia's whereabouts. As night descends, Vesper successfully unlocks the seeds, but their respite is short-lived as the Citadel's imminent threat looms. A toxic organism infiltrates their home, reminiscent of Darius's military encounters, prompting a tense standoff. Darius sacrifices himself to distract the soldiers, urging Vesper and Camellia to flee. Reluctantly, Vesper agrees to temporarily depart, trusting Darius's ability to deceive the soldiers. As the soldiers converge on Jonas's farm, Vesper and Camellia escape into the night, haunted by the looming threat of the Citadel's relentless. Arriving at Darius's dwelling, Vesper orchestrates an illusion of abandonment before absconding with the seeds, seeking refuge in the forest alongside Camellia. Knowing his efforts to reason with the soldiers are futile, Darius opts for a final act of defiance, triggering the drone's self-destruct sequence to thwart their pursuers. Witnessing the resulting explosion from afar, Vesper's resolve to aid her father is halted by Camellia, recognizing the futility of their intervention. Their plight worsens as surviving soldiers close in on their location, prompting Vesper to navigate them through treacherous terrain teeming with deadly flora. Despite dispatching one soldier through a deadly plant trap, their stealth is compromised by another, culminating in a desperate struggle for survival. Outnumbered but undeterred, Vesper and Camellia vanquish the soldier, only to realize the unrelenting pursuit they face. As the sound of approaching gliders heralds their perpetual danger, Camellia resolves to sacrifice herself to ensure Vesper's safety. Despite Vesper's objections, Camellia silences her with a kiss, concealing her unconscious form beneath foliage before yielding to the soldiers. Upon awakening, Vesper returns to find her home reduced to ashes. Resolving to honor Camelia's sacrifice, she plants the unlocked seeds, symbolizing hope amidst devastation. Encountering other survivors from Jonas's farm, Vesper embarks on a journey with them, trailing the enigmatic pilgrims to a towering edifice constructed from salvaged materials. Ascending the tower's summit, Vesper releases the seeds into the wind, symbolizing renewal and prosperity for all. With this act, she embraces a future defined by resilience, unity, and the promise of new beginnings.